Now recording. Yeah, where's the caption? Show caption. Save. Okay. All righty. Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to see you all here today. So to get started today, we've got a couple of interesting things today. First of all, anybody new besides Allison, who we're going to hear from a little bit later? Anybody else who's new today? Going once, going twice. Okay, so let's see. Just a reminder that after the meeting, for anybody who's interested, we do kibitzing with colleagues. It's just basically an informal gathering. We stop the recording, and anybody who wants to stay online to share some information, to ask questions, get some help or whatever. It could be 2 people, it could be 10 people, it could be 5 minutes, it could be an hour. So it just kind of depends. Okay, with that, let's move on. Nicole, I'm glad you're here today. I don't know if Cindy's going to make it or not. You want to give us an update on what's happening, please?
Sure. Is Cindy here?
I don't think so. I haven't seen her. I don't
scroll through. Okay. Well, remind me to talk about the listening sessions. And then if Cindy does jump in, then she can go over those. But I think it's been a little while since we all had we're all able to touch on some of the major deliverables for the broadband office. So the Arizona Commerce Authority, which is where the broadband office is the recipient of these 2 grant funds. So I wanted this group to have a sense of those deliverables, because a lot of discussion about plans and challenge processes and proposals and what's the difference and when is it all happening. So just really quickly with the BEAD program, that's the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program. The state has their planning funds for that, and they've selected their contractor and they're beginning that work. Their 5-year broadband plan is due August 28th of this year. That's one piece that they have to deliver with these planning funds. They also have to do formal consultations with tribal nations. That's actually happening this Friday. Another piece is the state's mapping challenge process. So this is how the state intends, it's their methodology for how they're going to run their state availability challenge. I'm not sure when the broadband office plans to submit that, but they're able to submit it as early as June 30th, which is the notice of the award funding. And then finally, the 4th piece for BEAD is the initial proposal. That's a pretty key document, and it's heavily reviewed, and there's a formal comment period, and this is the initial proposal. That's December 27th, but that date is also based on the notice of funding availability, June 30th. For digital equity, really the deliverable here is the state digital equity plan. As it stands now, Arizona's plan is due September 30th of 2023. So we'd be looking at drafts of that plan sometime in August, so that there's enough time for public comment and review, and then that gets submitted to NTIA. So those are some of the broad timeline that we have for this. Another piece that the state has to do is all the engagement and making sure everybody's represented in this process, and there's input, that there's especially around the sub-grant program as well as these capacity programs. So finally, I know, Steve, in your emails, you've put out the meetings for the monthly community table. They're calling it the Arizona Internet for All Community Table, which is a monthly virtual meeting for the broadband office to give updates to everybody, as well as to have some discussion around a few topics that they will be rolling out. So that first session is actually tomorrow. I think in the meeting notes for this meeting, there's links to the Commerce webpage where you can register for that.
Nicole, do you know, are each of those going to be different, or are they going to just be the same, repeated over and over?
Different. So different themes, different examples highlighted around around a different topic. This first one should be more introductions.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anything else, Nicole? Nicole, is there anything, do you have anything else?
That's it for me, unless there's other questions.
Okay. Well, hopefully one of these days we'll get Sandeep here and Cindy. And I did talk with Sandeep and would like to schedule a meeting with him and representatives from this group, with him and you and Cindy and folks from Digital Institute and so forth, Digital Inclusion Institute, to really have a clear understanding. I appreciate you giving us a quickie overview, but would like to get more detail, and particularly how we can best intersect with all the planning and work that's going on. So hopefully we'll get that done in the next few weeks, although Sandeep is so hard to catch, but anyway, that's the plan. Okay, any questions?
Great. Well, let me know how I can help.
Sounds good. Any questions for Nicole? I take it that to be a no. So moving on, let's see. Is Elena here today? I don't see her either. Anybody want to do a quickie update who may have attended the recap, the FCC chairwoman's visit to Phoenix and the Train the Trainer session?
Oh, Mala and I were both there. We can do that. Do you want to start, Mala?
Well, you get started and I'll join you.
Okay, sounds good. So it was wonderful. First of all, there were about 80 people at the press conference portion, which is what kicked off the morning. And then after the press conference, there was a Train the Trainer event where the FCC went over the ACP process and information at kind of a high level. And what was it, about 70 people, I think, stayed for that. So that was pretty wonderful. And those are folks who are essentially now digital navigators, helping their community navigate that process. We were able to share some information about the other established groups of digital navigators from the Digital Equity Institute, as well as Connect Arizona through the State Library, and the resources that we offer as well. And overall, it was a really wonderful day. It was very upbeat, very positive, very, lots of great questions from the training session. And Mala, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, basically I expected that there would be walk through the application process, because one of the things that Lyle was saying was that how much shorter it could be if you knew what you were doing. Typically, when I have done the sessions, it used to take anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes, sometimes even longer. But he was saying we could do it in 15 to 20 minutes. So I was hoping that I would see that. We didn't really have that kind of a session. But they did go through in detail what the system would look like. In fact, there were questions from people: what would we do if the only person who qualified in that household was a child, but the bills were coming in the name of the parents? That is typical question, because if the child is on a school nutrition program, they are eligible. But of course, the billing will not come in the child's name. What would we do if they were undocumented immigrants? Those are the kinds of questions that they raised. And those are, typically what we would find really, in a situation like that. So they did answer those questions. What about household income and things like that? So basically, it was an interesting session for a newbie or for someone who has not done this before. But those of us who have been doing this for a while, we were looking for, I think, at least I was looking for nuggets of things that we encountered, and that didn't happen.
So Mala, whoops, hold on just a second, please. Okay, sorry about that. So Mala, while we're talking about this, and I also have it on the page here, that the FCC has launched a new application landing page that's supposed to be easier for people to sign up. Do you have any comments about that, you or Aaron or anybody else on the call?
Basically, that page actually, the thing that it's useful for is that you can look at it in advance and come prepared with the documents that you need to sign up. That's really helpful because when you're sitting there to sign up, and if you don't have all those documents with you, then you're going to end up with, oh, okay, let me go back and get those and we'll start another session some other time, kind of thing. It's a waste of time. But I know in the flyers that we put out, we are saying bring documents that show blah, 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 so hopefully they pay attention to that and they bring those documents if they're coming to the library to sign up. If they're signing up at home or anywhere else, if they're signing up with their phones, they, of course, can stop and start and do whatever they need to do. It is a useful landing page, though.
One more note on that. That's actually one of the reasons why there was a slight delay in getting the printed materials that we had requested from the FCC that was being sent directly to our libraries, because that changeover happened. And so a few boxes had already been printed and shipped, but the majority of our libraries will be getting the flyers that have the new website, which both, of course, link to the same spot, so it won't be an issue. But just to follow up on the printing that we had requested as well, that was what the delay was. So
and so Aaron, you have new flyers also on the
yes.
Connect Arizona website, is that correct?
Yes, we've updated all of our flyers, the printable on-demand flyers, and all the information on the Connect Arizona website has been updated to reflect the new website as well.
And they're English and Spanish, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything is English and Spanish, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And they do have it available in 19 other languages, they said.
Okay, anything more about that? So, so moving on, and again, Aaron and Mala, I'll put you on the spot again. Do you want to give us a recap of the Healthcare and Transportation Technology Summit?
I did not physically attend that session.
Okay.
Erin and Janet did.
Yeah, Janet was all three of us for the morning. It was pretty fantastic. I hear she was sitting there with our name tags above her head, like pretending to be each of us, depending on what was going on. But I did get over there after the FCC event, and the second portion of the day there was breakout sessions. Aaron, I'm
sorry, can you just give a recap of what that event was?
Yes. So this was a kind of a conversation, a workshop, they called it, convened by NACOG, so the Northern Arizona
Council of Governments.
Thank you, Council. I forgot what the C was. Oh goodness. Anyway, they had received grant funding around conversations of the intersection of healthcare and transportation. And so they were convening people who had a stake in that game. And so it was held at the Maricopa Association of Governments offices in Phoenix, and brought together people from libraries, people like Janet who work in telehealth, lots of different folks. Some of our friends from this call were there as well. And so the second portion of the day, I think the beginning was mostly what organizations you're from and how you play into it. That we weren't there for that part. But then in the afternoon, they had breakout sessions where there were kind of smaller conversations about how some groups could continue to work together. The one I sat in on talked a lot about libraries being telehealth access points. And we talked a lot about, the programs that were already happening that Mala and Janet had spearheaded with the kits in the libraries, with the materials needed to, take data points and whatnot for your telehealth visits. Then we also talked about how even though there are libraries all over the place, getting to libraries is still sometimes prohibitive due to, transportation and distance and all of that. And so we also kind of talked through other opportunities like mobile telehealth stations being built into buses, for example, and things like that, that could go directly to a person who needed the services and offer them directly. We also talked a lot about how the drivers could be digital navigators or digital health navigators to help people through that process. Even if it's just getting them connected via the iPad when they, come with their bus, right? Then that's digital navigation. And so we talked a lot about that. Lots of the resources that Janet has shared in this space around the access points and those maps that she has shared, as well as the library maps and the public availability of Wi-Fi maps, all of that came up in the conversation that I was in as well. And just to follow up, just so you know what the link is that I dropped in the chat, that's the folder that has the Connect Arizona digital navigators promotional information. That's why that's there from our previous conversation. Let's see. So the only other thing for the NACOG event is that they do plan to have at least one more conversation like that. So if you're interested, Todd Morris, who has been in this group and presented, would be the point of contact for being involved with that, but they don't have it on the schedule yet. They're hoping to eventually come out with a deliverable plan with options that that the group comes up with around how to better present or how to better deliver telehealth. So.
Great, thank you, Erin.
Of
So
course.
we've all known that transportation is an issue, but hadn't really talked about it a lot. And this certainly kind of brought another dimension to the challenges and the issues of digital inclusion. So I think it was great. And I know Todd was very interested in continuing to have some dialogue and collaboration with those of you who are participating in the task force. Okay.
In one of the conversations we had with that I had with Todd, although he said this was a transportation meeting, they really want to avoid transporting people long distance, an hour up and down to their hospital or healthcare facility. They would rather take them to the nearest library, which probably could be at the most 15 minutes away. And the more important thing is that the caregiver himself or herself, if they are the ones that need healthcare, they oftentimes cannot get out of their homes because they're taking care of little kids or taking care of someone else at home. If they bring them to the library, then it is much easier because they're in a safe environment. In the library, the kids can do whatever they need to do. If there are programs in the library, or if there is something that they can read or do, while the parent or grandparent or whoever needs healthcare and is being taken care of, using telehealth. So the transporting them to the library seemed like the best option for the Department of Transportation working on this.
Great, thank you, Mama. Actually, AARP is pushing some national legislation to support caregivers, and it might be interesting to take a look at that legislation and perhaps connect with AARP. and to make sure that this is an issue that gets included with the challenges and issues of being a caregiver. Okay, anything else? Any questions for Aaron or Mala? Okay, so moving on. So Aaron, it looks like you're up again. Do you want to give us the latest update on what, I think you may already have kind of done this, about what's happening with the ACP and sign up campaigns?
So the ACP part, yes, just a recap on the Access and Kids Care Benefits webinar as well. That is coming up in just over 2 weeks. We're hosting Alan Jersvig from the Children's Alliance, Action Alliance, to provide resources to library staff, specifically so they can better answer questions of folks who come in around the fact that, as we know, in early April, the continuous enrollment ended for Medicaid and for Access. And so a lot of folks are now, getting into that space where they realize that their benefits have ended. And so we're providing some information and resources related to that process of re-enrollment and re-verification. If anyone is interested in the link or sharing it out to anyone who might like to attend, I just dropped the registration link from our event on the State Library's website. And so it is geared towards, people who are going to be that point of contact for information. So it won't go into, really deep detail, but it'll provide the resources that can be passed along.
Okay, thank you. Couple of one or two other quick things, and then I want to get to our presentation for today. Lupe, I see you and Robert are online. I don't know if any of the other grant recipients are online today. Any changes? You guys gotten any more information from the feds?
Not at the moment, but we're on our end. Like I had mentioned, we're kind of doing our due diligence. So the moment they let us know that we got the NOA and it's kind of coming through, we already have it kind of set aside for the positions, ready to hire. We are promoting and kind of sharing people, letting people know if they know anybody to let us know, and we're ready to hit the ground running. So we're just waiting for that so we can move forward. So we are knocking on wood. This is a wood table. I'm going to take it, Robert. This is a wood table that we hear by this week or no later than next week. So we can go ahead and get that going on our end.
So hurry up and wait, huh?
So this wood is, it looks like it's a pure oak wood. So it's going to send good lucks.
Robert, did you want to add anything, or we pretty much, I know Lupe does a good job.
Yeah, Lupe she did a amazing job. She's our lead. She's now taking our digital equity and running with it. So she's doing an amazing job. So yeah, we're just now trying to get all our states set up, and she's done a good job of getting all our events and all that going. So it's moving along.
Good. Okay, I don't think any of the other representatives with those other grants are here today. So we'll just move on. So with all of that, are there any other updates before we get to, excuse me, we do have some other updates a little later today, but I want to go to our presentation this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me. And so I want to introduce Allison Katarski. Is that correct, Allison?
That's correct.
So Allison is with an organization called CompuDopt, that I had never heard of until I got the invitation to attend their event in Mesa. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Allison to tell us about who CompuDopt is and the event that they've got coming up and all that kind of good stuff. Allison, did you have anything you want to share, a PowerPoint or anything?
I don't. I'm happy to, but I've got everything kind of in my head, so I can roll through it if everybody's good with that. Yeah, thank you first for having me. I really appreciate it, and on very short notice. And as Steve mentioned, we have been hitting him from all sides, trying to get some support. So we are a nonprofit that was started in 2007 in Houston by a gentleman by the name of John Osho, who was a IP lawyer and saw that in his law firm, he was watching his IT staff come and refresh the computers every, 2 years or so. And he said, well, what happens to those computers when when we get rid of them? And they said, well, I don't know, the ones that can be used, we'll keep on a shelf for a little while, and those that can't, we'll basically throw away, right? And what he saw was there was a lot of utility left in those devices, and started a nonprofit to recondition those devices and then get them back out into the hands of community members that didn't have computers. So that's how we started. At the end of 2019, our board said, we've been doing this for quite some time in Houston and in Galveston, but we think that we can take it national. So let's do this. And so we put together a fairly modest growth plan to become national starting in January of 2020. And as we all know, in March of 2020, COVID hit. And when COVID hit, kind of our whole mission and what we do every day was highlighted through the lack of access to computers for students with e-learning and for individuals needing computers to navigate just about everything, right? So what was a very modest growth plan quickly scaled, and we began serving all over the country through doing device distributions. So in 2020, we distributed 21,000 devices across the country, and we've continued to keep that pace in the last couple of years. So we are a full digital equity solution, right? We provide we provide access to computers, we provide technology education, we provide digital literacy programs and connectivity, and I'm going to speak to all of those momentarily. I did see somebody gave a shout out to AZBSN, and they are actually a partner of ours in Mesa. So we are working with AZBSN to help us recondition the computers that we have that we're going to be giving out in Mesa. So over the last couple of years, we've expanded to 39 cities in 40 cities now. Sorry, we just added one last week in 19 different states. Mesa is our newest city that we are launching with a brick and mortar site. So we received at the end of 2021 a very large gift from Santander Consumer USA, who is it's a Spanish bank, but they have a big office in Dallas. They've got an office in Mesa, and they are interested in bringing our digital equity solution to the Mesa area. And so over the next 2 years within Mesa, we will be distributing 7,500 computers at no cost to community members, be helping to connect 10,000 households to the internet, providing digital literacy skill building classes for 24,000 plus individuals, and providing our technology education programs to 300 students, all through the gift from Santander. Our goal is to stay in Mesa long term, which is why we're investing in finding a brick and mortar location that we'll be officing out of, and we're hiring some staff people from the Mesa area. So just to give you kind of a quick rundown of those 4 pillars that I touched on. So device access, we, as I mentioned, we recondition the computers that we receive. Sometimes some are donated to us, and others we go out and we purchase them through computer refurbishers like AZBSN, who is, again, our nonprofit partner out there. And we recondition those devices and we get them out to individuals who do not own the computer in their home. So we are firm believers that that individuals need access to computers in their home, right? And I heard from Mala and from Aaron about all of the good work that the library is doing, and you've got people coming into the library and attending telehealth and finding the different avenues for them, and I think that's amazing. We love to partner with libraries and have done so in many different cities, particularly for our education programs. The only qualifier for our services is for a household to be at 200% of the poverty line or below. That's it, right? And to not own the computer in their home. We give them the computer free of charge. There's 2-year warranty attached to it, right? So if anything happens with the computer, we'll replace it, or we'll repair it or replace it for 2 years. And it also comes with 2 years of free tech support. Our technology education programs are geared for K through 12th grade. and we're currently working on a workforce development program as well. The technology education programs that we offer in most of the time are offered alongside community partners like libraries, community centers, YMCAs, churches, where we come into the location that has students and we bring the staff, we bring the materials, we bring the curriculum, and we teach students. It's about a 25-hour program, each one of those. And they're designed to create a sense of curiosity around technology, allow students to understand that technology isn't something to be scared of, and that they can do it just the same as anybody else, right? We also believe that through these technology education programs that we're offering, as well as through our device access program, that students are able to foster a social and emotional connection that otherwise they might not be able to by having a computer and understanding technology in the way that their peers in school do, right? So one of the things that we often hear from students is, from youth that receive our computers, is that they're so excited because now they'll be able to play Roblox with their friends and understand what it is. So it's super exciting for us. Our technology programs are broken down into elementary, middle, and high school. And again, just to give you an idea kind of how they're structured. So our early adopters program is our elementary school program. And it's called Admission Innovation. All of our programs are themed, they're project-based. So we turn the kids into astronauts, and the astronauts, so it could be first day of class, they get a golden envelope, kind of like Willy Wonka, right? And they open their envelope and inside is an old school Mad Lib. And they fill out the Mad Lib, and then that kind of directs their quest. So if I were filling it out, mine might say, Steve and Allison were on a rocket ship to Mars, and on the way to Mars, they passed a purple planet with pink marshmallows floating around it. And then we teach them how to code using augmented reality, this purple planet with pink marshmallows, and then they take a merge cube, which is like I should have one on my desk, but it's a 6-sided foam dice that when they hold it up to the camera on the laptop, they see in augmented reality the purple planet with pink marshmallows floating around it, right? And it's kind of this mind blown moment where they see that technology isn't necessarily always, typing on a keyboard, right? But that they can see it. We tie all of these things back to workforce development and career pathways, right? So I'm sure you guys have seen the research around, students as young as 5 years old, when they're introduced to different careers, it can set them on a trajectory much different than if they had never been made aware of the careers in the past. And you see that oftentimes with, you've got local schools and daycares bringing in dentists and bringing in doctors to talk about careers. And so we do that, but through technology. Our digital literacy skill builder programs are geared towards anybody that is helping to support the student. So we understand that many of the households that we serve are intergenerational, right? You've got grandparents living with parents and younger students, and everybody's working together in support of that student. So our digital literacy skill builder classes cover everything from building a resume to creating an email address, to understanding how to search on the web, to setting up an online bank account, or attending a telehealth appointment, right? So they're broken down into modules. So we've got like tech for life, tech for business. We've got just general, we've got internet safety, right? All of those different things. And all of our digital literacy classes can be accessed via our website, or they can be, when we give our computers out, we also give a USB stick that has the digital literacy programs on it as well, so that the individual doesn't need to have internet connectivity to be able to access those classes. And then our last pillar, if you will, of our 4 offerings is connectivity. As I mentioned, through the gift from Santander, we are committed to helping to connect 10,000 households in Mesa. And I failed to mention, back up. So Mesa is one of 5 cities that we will be doing this, or that we are doing this work in for this gift. So the first city that we started in is Dallas, followed quickly by Atlanta, and now Mesa is our 3rd. And so through connectivity, we are doing 2 different things. We have partnered with the city of Mesa and Motorola to be able to connect via our own network households that are within a certain service area. And we're doing that through with the help of Motorola. Those individuals that are in that service area that meet the criteria, again, at 200% of the poverty line or below, they have access to the internet for free on our internet, and the speeds that we're promising are at least 50 megs down, 10 megs up. And then we're also helping to connect households that might not be in our network, but need internet because they're either underconnected or not connected. We help them get connected through ACP. So all of our staff are in the process. Some of our staff are already quote unquote certified in ACP. So we've partnered with the Education Superhighway folks who have created a certification for enrolling individuals in ACP that help those that are helping families get connected, navigate the ACP program. Yeah. Yes, and that's a great question, Roy, and I'll share. So so with the ACP, we help them get connected to a major carrier that is with a plan that's conducive for them. With our own network, we are doing it again with Motorola. We've got towers. I think there's 21 different towers in all throughout Mesa right now, and we're looking to continue to build some more that using LTE technology, where we send out the signal, we get them connected with CPEs, and they've got then the connectivity in their home. Our part of the ACP program, or ACP outreach rather, includes our CompuDop Support Center, which is a support center that's open right now 9 to 6 Central Time, but we are Monday through Friday, and then Saturday 9 to 2. We're working on revamping some of those hours as we do go into Mesa because the time difference is a little bit different for us. And our support center staff is trained on tech support as well as ACP outreach, getting people connected. They can answer any question about, you know, how to do something on someone's computer, how to access a microphone, how to get on Zoom, all of that type of thing. But then additionally, we have a community portal as part of our service offering, where if an individual calls into our support center and says, hey, I'm wondering, I just moved into this area and I need, I need housing support, or I need food support, or I need something like that, our community portal can help get that individual connected as well. So I say all that to just give you an overview of who we are. And then, but my main point of being here today was to share with you that we are entering into the Mesa market, and we are diligently working to find community advocates and those that can share the word that we're coming to Mesa. Not surprisingly, when people hear that we'd like to give you a free computer, right? We've got a bunch of laptops and we'd like to give them to you for free. There is a general sometimes distrust of that. Many people think that we're a scam. And so it really helps to have individuals that are part of the community already and trusted within the community be able to say, yeah, I know, CompuDopt is a legit thing, right? They do provide technology access and education, right? They do hand out free computers. It's not a scam. It is free. They do provide a warranty and all of that good stuff. So first and foremost, if you could just know that if you see anybody and talk to anybody and they say, oh, I just got this weird, I got a weird text message. Somebody said that I want a computer. I said 200% below the poverty line, or 200% above the poverty line. I'm sorry. We go off of ALICE, which is Asset Limited Income Constraint Employed, right? So 200% of the poverty line or below, right? Which equates nowadays about $60,000 for a household of 4. So anybody that has annual household income of $60,000 or lower, right? And family of 4 would absolutely be eligible to receive a device.
Is that all?
Sorry, and I was just reading Marie's. I didn't want to miss this question. What am I? And let's see, what about households that have computer devices that are out of date and not working. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that does not have a working computer in their home or does not own a working computer. So one of the things that we make the distinction with is that we do not count work-based or school-based devices as having a computer in your home, right? Because one day you're going to have to give those computers back at the end of the school year. The kids have to return to school, or at the end of, if someone, unfortunately loses their job or decides to change jobs, they may lose that computer. In addition, those computers oftentimes come with some restrictions, right? So sometimes there's some difficulty getting into Zoom, to Zoom meetings, or there's websites that an individual can't access, right? I was speaking with a mom the other day who was trying to do some job search and complete some applications for a job, and she kept getting blocked because whatever software was on the computer that she had received was prohibiting that particular website. So again, we believe that we believe that device ownership is key to economic mobility and being able to transact in today's digital world. And so we're coming to Mesa to try to help the community members that are there to get some additional access. Right? We do have an event coming up next Wednesday, the 24th. It will be held at the Santander corporate offices. We're going to be doing a computer distribution. We've got 150 computers to give out that will, quote unquote, launch us there. So 150 computers to distribute. Again, they're free, no cost. They come with 2 years of free tech support. And then we're also going to be doing kind of a little meet and greet afterwards. So we would love anybody that's in the area to come out. I can send Steve the invitation with the information, and Steve, if you could be so kind to share it out with the group. We'd love to have any and everybody come out and get to know us and get to know what we see firsthand, what we do. There's really nothing more rewarding than handing a computer to a kid who's never had one, and their eyes just kind of light up. And then I do see this last, so Andy, thank you for that. I will absolutely get this information and see if I can get connected with Eva. Yeah. So I'm going to pause there because I feel like I've been talking for a really long time, and I'm usually the one that likes to sit in the back quiet. So what questions do you all have of me, or how can I, what can I answer for you?
You folks got to have questions.
Alison, this is Marla. I had a couple of questions for you. One is, there are a lot of folks that we from the library give out computers to, but they're on loan. They don't own them. So would they qualify for a laptop? And
Yes.
the second question is, what proof are you looking for poverty? Is it a school lunch program? Is it, the household income, or what kind of?
Yeah, that great question. Thank you. So, so to answer your first question again, yes, absolutely. If individuals have computers on loan from the library, they're absolutely eligible. And if they're chosen to receive a laptop, then they can return one to the library, and that one at the library can go to somebody else that needs it, right? All of our distributions are done as a lottery, right? There's no guarantee that someone's going to receive them, but what we do is on our website that is location specific. Individuals will fill it out, and then we will randomly select the number of people that we have computers ready for. So if we've got 100 computers in inventory, we will pick 100 names, send them a text message, say, hey, you've been selected to receive a computer. This is the date and time of the event. Come on out and we'll give you your computer. Your second question as to how do we know, or how do they qualify? So filling out that form, we do ask for individuals to fill out their household income. It is self-reported. We do not do any, you don't have to supply any tax information. We do not care about documentations or status, or immigration status, right? We don't ask for any of those types of documents. We're just asking, do you own the computer at home? And what is your household income? And as long as those two things fit our criteria, which again, 200% of the poverty line or below, and you don't own the computer in your home, then you are eligible.
So Allison, when we talked, I was asking about, obviously you're starting out in Mesa, but how can people take advantage who are in other parts of the state?
Yeah, thank you. So that's a great question. A couple of different ways, right? As I shared, we've got our support center, which supports our national efforts, right? So all 50 states we support, and so anybody that is located outside of Mesa, they can absolutely feel free to use our support center. We would love to help get individuals connected to ACP or through to the internet through ACP. So if they're, maybe you're in an area and there's not a whole lot of maybe digital navigators, or there aren't enough people or time for people to help individuals get connected to ACP, you can certainly share, and I can share our phone number out as well, certainly share our support center, and we are happy to get them connected through ACP and walk them through the process. We also, we're always looking for partners in other areas, even though we're about to come to Mesa right now. Oftentimes we do have funders that contact us and say, hey, I'd like to do some work here, or I'd like to do some work here. Can you help support us in those efforts? And so I know that Phoenix is very close to Mesa, but we were in Phoenix with a different funding partner just earlier this year. So there's always opportunity to get connected with us, and we will absolutely come where we can serve.
So what about the digital literacy?
Sorry, Steve. I know you're having to work for it today. I'm sorry. It's yes, I'm not on my game here. I needed, I guess, another cup of coffee today. Our digital literacy skill builder classes are available, as I mentioned, off of our website. We also have them in USB form for those that aren't connected to the internet or need something maybe more stable because their connectivity maybe is spotty in the area in which they live. And so we can support partners through through the digital literacy skill building classes. As I mentioned, they're online, but we also offer them on Zoom. And if we've got a big enough group that it makes sense, we can also offer them in person as well. There are 5 different modules. We usually deliver. We usually break them up into, every single module is a different course or different class if we do it in person, but we can certainly work with our partners to be able to do that. We're also happy to look at a train the trainer model with our curriculum as well.
So Allison, I might just toss this out that, besides your event coming up in Mesa, that maybe you want to have another gathering with some of our folks and others that are out there to really have a discussion about how they best collaborate and partner with you.
Yeah, I would love that. I'd welcome any and all conversations. As I shared, I'm looking to make a hire in Mesa within the next couple of weeks. And then once we have that hire and a location, it'll make it much easier to be able to connect with individuals. But I would love to have a conversation with anybody in regards to how we can partner. Our only goal is to serve as many people as possible. We'd ultimately like to put ourselves out of business, as I'm sure we all would, right? Closing the digital divide. We're happy to partner in whatever way, shape, or form that feels right for the partner. There are a couple more questions, if I could just real quickly just to answer these. Wondering about an operating system. So when we recondition the devices, we typically put Linux, Ubuntu on them. Ubuntu is, I'm sure you guys know this, but it is an open source operating system with no known viruses, very safe for students and families, and it looks very much like Microsoft. There's word processing and spreadsheets and things that we put on that, as well as anything that a student needs to be able to for distance learning. For the devices that we end up getting from reconditioned from reconditioning partners, we do put Microsoft on those devices. We are able to use citizenship licenses for that. do they have to be residents of Mesa if we have an event in Mesa, or can anybody apply? So anybody could apply, but we do give priority to those that are closest, right? So for this in particular for Mesa, we would be pulling anybody that's in Mesa. However, we've also, as I mentioned, have some events going on in Phoenix as well. So I would encourage any and everybody to put their name on the list, and then we will pull from that list as we have funds to go to other areas. And I will absolutely put my information in. Oh, somebody did. Thank you. Yeah. And then, yes, we would love to come to a conference. Yes, absolutely. Clicking on it right now.
Hey, what other questions? Okay, if there's no questions, then I think we're done for that. Thank you, Allison. Great to hear about what you're doing, and I'm sure there's folks here who are going to want to be able to partner and connect with you.
Yeah, we would love that. I will, as I shared, I'll send the invitation for the invite over your way, and I will be out in Mesa next Tuesday and Wednesday. So we'd love to see anybody there. And I'll also send along my contact information. Welcome.
Allison, did I remember that the invitation was a PDF?
It is a PDF.
So I would suggest that you put it into the chat and that people can download it, because that's the fastest way, with the time coming up pretty quickly, the fastest way for people to be able to get it. And I'll be sending it out also. But the quickest way is to put it in the chat today, and people can download it today. And then I'll also send out additional information.
Great. Oh, I just sent it. So I love Fast and Furious. Okay, I just sent this just to Rory though. So hold on, I'm going to send it again. Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Allison? Okay. Well, thanks, Allison.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys' time.
You bet. So I want to circle back. I saw Cindy has joined us. Hey, Cindy.
Hello.
So did you have a good vacation?
I did.
So you were in Europe or someplace like
Yeah,
that?
it's funny. She was talking about a Spanish bank, and I just spent 2 weeks in Spain, and I saw Santander banks all over the place. So
Cool.
yeah, it's funny.
So are you just back this week?
Yes. Yep.
So
Today's day one.
You're probably catching up, but do you have any things? And Nicole gave us a quickie rundown, but do you have any things that you want to talk to us about?
Was Nicole on earlier today?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wow. I thought I was only 2 minutes late. Yeah, I'll just say what our office has going on. Tomorrow we start is our kickoff monthly table conversation. Where I'm trying to get basically we're trying to hold open office hours for the state broadband office once a week. And I should say I'm Cindy Hogan. I'm the digital equity program manager for the state broadband office out of the Arizona Commerce Authority. And so what we're trying to do is, it's a big state. We want to have two-way conversations with everybody that we can. It seemed easiest to start a monthly conversation that people can attend. And so the first one is tomorrow. I will put the address for the webpage where you can register in the chat. I know, I believe, Steve, you and probably most of the people on the call received invitations, but if not, I'll put that there.
And I did send it out also, Cindy.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just want as much conversation going on about the digital equity plan as we can possibly have, reaching all kinds of people, all kinds of organizations. So please join us for that. And
Excuse me, Cindy, are those virtual?
yes, they're all virtual.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's just because there's no way we can cross the state as many times as we would like to. But the other thing that we're doing is we're setting up a listening tour where we're going to go to at least 15 different spots physically across the state, and we're going to hold two types of listening sessions. One will be for community members. The other will be for community organizations and local governments and anybody, agencies, that sort of thing. So we're getting to hear the lived experience. We're also getting to hear the experience of people that are working with people, trying to get people connected. So we're going to get all that kind of, and there are going to be surveys as part of that tour. So we hope, and they're still working on the survey, the surveys that they want to use to collect data for the state. And once those are out, we're going to want to spread those far and wide. So they'll be available to everyone in this group and for everybody to pass around to the people that they want to be included in this effort. I will also say for this, these monthly calls, I would love it if people who are attending will reach out to people that they know in other parts of the state outside their own locale, because again, we really want to cover the state. And I think that's about all I have for now.
So Cindy, when Nicole was on, she was saying that those sessions are going to be different each week. They're not going to be the same. And so is there a possibility on your website and or sharing with us or others about what the topics are going to be for each one, so that people will know what the topic is going to be for each of those sessions?
So you mean monthly, not weekly?
The monthly, I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, yes.
Monthly.
We're going to try to do that. Nicole and I were jamming, trying to figure out if we could get an agenda done today, and I don't think we will before the meeting tomorrow. But yes, that's the intent, is to be sure that that we get the topics out. So yes, people can choose the sessions they want to attend.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
So Cindy, is there anything else in regard to the broadband office that you want to share? Again, I know
Not at this
you're
time,
gone,
not on my first day back.
but- Well, there can't be very much happening, right? Okay, well, thanks, Cindy, appreciate it.
Sorry,
Okay.
Cindy, I missed it. Are you, did you say you're going to record and post the virtual sessions?
I haven't really gotten clarity on that just yet. They're public, and I'm just want to be really careful about how I want people to be able to speak freely and everybody to be comfortable. I think I need to have one more conversation before we decide on that. So to be determined.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else for Cindy? If not, John, are you still online? John Kelly? Okay, I guess not. All righty, so moving on. Molly, do you have anything else regarding E-rate and libraries?
Not really. We, like I said last time, I think I mentioned at the ATIC meeting that we got about 35 million back from E-rate for our application this year. This is just within the first 2 waves. And that's much more than we got anytime in these last 20 plus years that E-rate has been in existence. So hoping that they're actually reviewing fast and giving us our funding commitments faster this year. So yeah, and we crossed the 400,000 mark with the ACP enrollment. We are at 406,000 now, households that have signed up for ACP.
Cool, anything else?
No, thank you. Back to you.
Okay, anything else with the telehealth and libraries project?
We're still working on our first tribal event, which is going to be at Tuba City, coming up next month, actually. So once I have more concrete updates, I'll share it with you, probably at the next AZBSN meeting.
Steve?
Yeah, Mark.
Mark. And so I did see an odd news blurb that was telehealth related, that the governor signed a bill enabling veterinary telehealth for your pets. And so I hadn't seen that while it was in development, surprised me, but apparently a bill was signed for that. And you asked for John. He had put in the chat that he had to jump
Right.
for
Yes,
4
I just saw
o'clock,
that.
but he did post a link to the JLBC breakdown of the governor's budget. And just to recap, and you reported on it in your notes, most recently there was 23.6 million, I believe, for a approved for a new fund at Commerce that can provide matching funds for the upcoming BEAD grants. And Mala, I believe John confirmed to me in a meeting that the $5 million for E-rate leveraging was in the sustained budget as well.
That's right. And that's right. And that is similar to what we got in 2017. We got 3 million and 8 million from Department of Ed, and this is now 5 million from the governor's office. So we're really excited about that, and hopefully we can do more middle mile with that fiber build out in those areas that really need it the most. And the pet telemedicine was something new that even I hadn't, seen any whispers of. So I'm excited about it as well. Thank you for sharing that.
Hey. And that budget has been approved now, if I'm not mistaken. It's been through the House, Senate, and the governor, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's some good news. Okay, moving on. Aaron, do you have anything else that you want to, I haven't had you speak at all today, but.
I know, I feel like I haven't said anything, but no,
Yeah,
I'm good.
you're so
Thank you.
quiet. Do you have anything else, Aaron, that you want to talk about?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, of course, Janet's not here today. Philip, I believe you were online. Want to give us a quick update? What's happening with Department of Ed? Are you still here? Well, I guess he's gone. Okay, Derek's not here. Rory, I think you're online. You want to give us anything new about the Final Mile project or anything else?
He just had to leave as well.
Okay. And I guess we're done for today. Anybody have any other information or announcements before we end for today? Going right once, going twice. Okay. Then I will end the call, and if anybody wants to stay in Kibitz for a little while, if not, we'll be done.